So I recently stayed in the Hilton Embassy Suite Hotel in Norman, Oklahoma. While originally was going to stay in a single king bed room, I had several issues with that room, and so they moved me into a separate room that actually had two queen beds. So in this video, I'll be giving you a room tour of both of them. As usual on this channel, I'm going to be doing a separate in-depth hotel tour video, so get subscribed if you aren't already. But let's go ahead and dive right into this room tour. So I'm not going to have kid gloves on this video. I did have a number of issues while staying here, one of which was definitely continuously getting locked out of my rooms, which is why I had to get a room change in the first place. But theoretically, you should be able to have used your physical key card to get in, or the digital key card if you are a Hilton Honors member via their app. But anyway, once you're in, it does have one of those deadbolt locks built into the door handle, and a physical door stopper, so you can open the door a crack to communicate with whoever is on the other side of the door without fully opening the door. And per regulation, you have the map of your floor layout on the back of the door, and then your do not disturb door tag. And one thing I want to point out in case you don't know, because it's a suite style hotel, they're not going to automatically come by and do housekeeping on a regular basis. So if you want housekeeping at any degree, you have to let them know. And that's something I wish that the front desk told me when I was checking in, but since you're watching this video, that's my tip for you. But anyways, right next to the door, you have a big window covered by two drapes, one kind of translucent one, and then one a more solid one for privacy. And since these windows are all facing the interior of the hotel, you're just going to see people, strangers walking by your room. So you'll probably want to just cover this up if you really want your privacy. So the main space you're greeted with when you walk in is the living room space. So you can see there's couches, sofas, and also ottomans. And then it's facing a TV, which would have your name on it if you are a Hilton's Honor member of any status. In this case, I was a silver member. But as a silver member, I should have gotten some water bottles, but I didn't get that at all here. And then, of course, doing my regular hotel remote cleanliness check. Yep, super greasy, so don't expect them to have cleaned very thoroughly here. It is a smart TV, so if you want to sign into some of your subscription services, you could. Taking a look at what storage options you have underneath, we have two shelves covered right here, and then there's just a big open space underneath there if you want to maybe store your luggages. And then right here is like a dining room table with two chairs, one of which is a rolling office chair-ish type, but as you can see, it is all hard plastic, so there's no cushion at all found on this chair, which is pretty uncomfortable. But one of the telephones is also located here. So doing a quick 360 from this angle, you can see the living room space is relatively spacious since this is suite style, so you can kind of expect this amount of space. The decor kind of reminds you of perhaps your grandma's house though, and you can definitely see some wear and tear, especially in the sofa area with some stains. But continuing along, there is a small trash can right here in the corner, and then it leads to this mini kitchenette area. There's no stove, but there is a microwave down there, which I'll get to in just a minute. But if you're curious on what the sticker on the mirror says, it's basically telling you that the water in the room is actually $4 per bottle. And there's also a QR code if you want to tip electronically. And if you're wondering what that fancy $4 water is, it's this Icelandic like 8.4 pH level alkaline water bottle right there. And then it's next to an ice bucket as well. And then in the same place are two glass cups. And then over here is actually a little tray of some coffee and bagged tea on the top. And just your typical stuff, like there's chamomile for non-caffeinated or help you sleep, some black tea, and then some regular coffee and decaf coffee, and then some sugars, creamers underneath that, and then lids for the additional cups over here found in the coffee maker, which is right next to a sink. No dish soap provided, so you're going to have to buy that yourself. And then underneath the sink is actually a little safe, which you can set the combo yourself. Next to that is your mini fridge, and it is a little bit bigger than your typical hotel mini fridge. It's good to see for a suite style. There's no freezer section, as you can see, but at least you can adjust your temperature if you need to. Moving over a little bit more is the microwave, as you can see. And underneath that is some more open storage. On the flip side is the restroom, and you can see there's a pretty large vanity mirror over the sink area, which also has a very large countertop surface. To the left, you have one set of outlets, and one is being occupied with a nightlight. And just around the same area, you have a box of tissues, 2 makeup remover wipes, and a bar of hand soap with a dish. And then, of course, the sink area. And then over here is a bottle of lotion, plus your second set of outlets to the right. Underneath the sink towards the toilet area, of course, you have toilet paper with an extra row behind it. You have some hand and face towels, and then your body towels over there. And then that's the hair dryer in the black bag. In the corner, we have the small trash can. And then here's the toilet, which handle is a little bit worse for wear. And then moving over towards the bathtub area, you have of course, the floor mat and another set of small towel. And in the first room I had, it was actually missing this additional bar soap, but not a huge deal since mounted on the wall you have shower gel, shampoo, and conditioner. And then if you want to take a look at the rest of the condition of the bathtub, you do have a shower curtain here, and the tub does have a slip-resistant surface on the bottom. This particular room has a regular shower head. You can get accessibility ones that have the handle. And to round things up with the bathroom, there is a hook on the back of the door to hang your towel. So bathrooms are decent size for a suite. I was just personally not very impressed with the level of cleanliness. When I walked in, I noticed immediately there was hair still in the sink. The soap tray was definitely not cleaned out. Countertop surface didn't appear to be wiped down thoroughly. And then the floor just looked really dirty. But now let's take a look at the bedrooms. So as I mentioned earlier, I was able to take a look at both the king bed size room as well as the 2 queen beds. They're both pretty similar, but there's some nuanced differences. But let's just go ahead and start with the doorway of the king bedroom so that you can see the light switch is right there. A small trash can in the corner, which is right next to the full-length body mirror. And as stated above the light switch, the thermostat is right behind the door right here. It's a Honeywell thermostat, which is really basic, simple to use. That's all you need. There was a different thermostat tucked away again behind the door of the 2 queen bedroom one. You can see it's even more basic looking, but it'll control that fan coil unit, which is recessed behind the wall, as you can see here. Next is the linen closet. Pro tip is to open it from the middle here, and at the top you can see there is an iron and ironing board in the corner, plus a rack of clothes hangers with some pants or skirt compatible clips. And then if you want them to do your laundry for you, here are the prices. But there is actually a laundry room on site. I'll show you in my full hotel tour video, so subscribe to see that. But here also in the closet is your luggage holder. And that is pretty much it. No extra towels or blankets found on top. Going over to the main space, you see the TV is situated on a desk/dresser situation. And there are a total of 4 sliding drawers, all empty. Desk area is pretty simple. You have a desk lamp and also a basic padded chair, and there's a large round mirror right in front of it as well, plus a few outlets. And then we're at the next wall, which have some big curtains covering up the view, which is basically a nice flat Norman Fields. Then moving on to the bed area, you can see that there are 2 nightstands flanking the single king size bed. This one closest to the window is just a single slide out drawer and then empty space underneath. King bed, you have 4 pillows and then a relatively firm mattress. Moving over to the other nightstand, you have a wireless charging pad with USB-C and USB-A charging port with full-size wall outlets too, which is very convenient, except that the wireless charging pad did not work at all in either of the rooms that I was in. But next to that is the hotel telephone alongside the lamp, which is farther away, which will probably force you to get up to turn it off unless you have long arms. And then QR code for the hotel directory. Drawer contains a Holy Bible, and then again empty space underneath. And then of course towards the ceiling you'll find the regular safety amenities, fire alarm, smoke detector, and sprinkler. The main difference with the 2 queen bedroom is you get a single nightstand and the telephone is not in the room but again outside in the living space, which I previously showed. Still have the in-between outlets with the broken wireless charging pad. You do get 3 pillows this time per bed, but same placement of TV across from one of the beds. Once again, I found, indicators of where the cleaning practices could be better. There's definitely clear staining on the bed sheets and even some ink-like stains on the pillowcases and leftover hair from whoever was, using those sheets previously. And notice how the sheets are not tucked in properly on either of the beds that I showed, and this is exactly how I walked into, so I didn't untuck it prior to filming either. So if you catch my drift of the cleanliness of this hotel is quite lacking, and I did have quite a few issues staying here, some of which I unfortunately cannot legally disclose, but if you kind of follow in between the lines, you may be able to guess what happened. But needless to say, this has just been a room tour of the king and double queens that's available in this hotel. I will be doing a separate hotel amenities tour if you're still curious about this property. Definitely get subscribed if you aren't ready, and you can check out my other hotel tour videos already on my channel. Thanks for watching.